Okay, body condition scoring in Angora goats is not an exact science, but provides useful information in terms of their health, nutrition, and reproductive state in a single easy measurement. Generally, Angora goats tend to deposit more fat intra-abdominally, and in my experience, they tend to score an average half a point lower than sheep on the same physiological and nutritional plane. Now, to body score the goat, feel along the spine between the last rib and the pelvic bone. Place your thumb on the midline. You will feel the vertical spinous process of the lumbar vertebra, and your forefingers will feel the transverse process of the vertebra, also called short ribs. The loin muscle and fat covering will lie in the angle between the vertical spinous process and the short ribs. Body condition score range between 1, which is very thin, to 5, which is obese over fat. The vertical and horizontal spinous processes are prominent and sharp and feels like the end of your fingers, and you can actually feel almost your fingernails. Fingers can be easily pushed below the short ribs, and the individual's ribs can be easily felt. You are able to push your fingers between the short ribs, and the loin muscle is minimal and exaggerated concave but can be felt. These goats are emaciated, and they're very thin, and critical measurements must be taken regards nutritional support, but the underlying issues such as worn teeth, age, roundworms, coccidiosis, or any other condition needs to be considered. The vertical and horizontal spinous processes are prominent but smooth, and it feels a bit like the middle knuckle of your hand. The fingers can be pushed below the short ribs, and the individual ribs can be felt and are smooth. You can still get your fingers between the short ribs. The loin muscle can be felt, but is still concave shape. These goats are thin. Vertical and horizontal spinous processes are smooth and rounded, and it feels a bit like the top knuckle of your hand. The fingers can be pushed underneath the short ribs using the bit of pressure, and the individual ribs can be felt with pressure. You can't get your fingers between the short ribs, and the loin muscle is easily felt and is now flat. These goats are average to good condition. The vertical and horizontal processes can be detected as a line. The individual ends can't be felt without applying pressure, and it feels a bit like the wrist of your hand. The fingers can't be pressed below the short ribs, and the ends can't be felt without applying pressure. The loin muscle now has significant fat covering and starts to bulge, a convex shape. These goats are fat. Vertical and horizontal spinous processes can't be detected without significant pressure, and it feels a bit like the muscle over your arm just below the elbow. Fingers can't be pressed underneath the short ribs even with pressure. The loin muscle bulges out and a groove develops over the spinous processes. These goats are obese, and kidney problems and prolapses may occur. Generally, the following condition scores are ideal. At mating, as close to 3 or slightly above if possible, but anywhere between sort of 3 to 3.5. Mid-pregnancy, we'd like to sort of get them slightly lower at about 2 and 2.5. And kidding, these are as close to 3 or slightly above if possible, somewhere sort of between 2.5 and 3. And then lactation, they'll lose a bit of condition, and sort of 2.5 dropping down to 2 in late condition is where we probably want them. You don't need to check all the goats unless you wish to single out goats for special treatment. But 25 goats in a flock can be checked to give you a good indication of the sort of condition of the goats and help with the development of a nutritional or management plan.